Welcome back to Z Coins. Today, we're diving into a coin that's become a hidden gem among collectors, the 1965 Washington quarter. And get this, certain versions of this coin can go for as high as $88,900. But before we get into the juicy details on why this quarter is so valuable, let's set the scene. In 1965, the United States was going through some major changes. A coin shortage was in full swing, and as a result, the U.S. Mint decided to transition from silver to copper-nickel for quarters. That means the Washington quarter from 1965 was the first made from a new metal composition, moving away from the 90% silver coins that were produced up until 1964. So, here's the thing that makes this coin special. In most cases, a standard 1965 quarter isn't worth much more than its face value, unless you find one of the rare silver transitional errors. These are quarters that were accidentally struck on silver planchets, those leftover silver blanks from 1964. And guess what? They're almost impossible to spot unless you know what to look for. So how do you know if you have one of these valuable coins? First, let's break down the features to look for. A typical 1965 quarter will have a copper-nickel composition with a distinctive copper edge. But the silver transitional errors? They'll be missing the copper color along the rim and will have the uniform silver edge, just like the pre-1965 quarters. A second clue is weight. While regular 1965 quarters weigh about 5.67 grams, silver quarters are just a hair heavier. This weight difference can be subtle, but if you have a scale that measures in grams, it's worth checking. Now, let's talk about rarity and why collectors are so crazy about this coin. When the U.S. Mint transitioned to the copper-nickel composition, they intended to use up all the silver blanks first. But mistakes happen. A small number of 1,965 quarters were minted using the silver planchets from 1964. Only a handful of these coins have been authenticated, and because of their extreme rarity, collectors are willing to pay top dollar. Alright, here's the part we've all been waiting for: the current market value. Over the past few years, these silver era quarters have shown up in auctions, and some have sold for as much as $7,000, $10,000, or even $88,900 if they're in top mint condition. Why the massive price tag? It's all about condition and rarity. The 1965 silver transitional errors are already scarce, but finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is almost unheard of, which is why collectors will shell out the big bucks. Tips to identify a 1965 silver transitional error quarter narrator. So, here are a few quick tips to help you identify whether you're sitting on a small fortune. Look at the edge. Remember, a copper-nickel quarter will show a copper-colored stripe, while a silver one will look uniform in silver all around. Weigh the coin. Use a precise scale to check for a slight weight difference. Silver quarters weigh a bit more. Listen to the sound. Silver coins have a distinctive ring when dropped on a hard surface, unlike the dull sound of copper-nickel. Each of these can be a good indicator, but if you think you have a real silver error, it's best to get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Certification from a reputable source can significantly boost its value at auction. And hey, even if your 1965 quarter doesn't turn out to be a silver error, it's worth checking other Washington quarters from around this time. A few 1964 quarters made it into circulation with slight design differences, and there are even some 1970 quarters that have value because they were struck on leftover foreign coin blanks. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes, the tiniest detail can mean the difference between 25 cents and a literal jackpot. We're diving into the 1981 P Washington $quarter coin to see how much it's truly worth, and why certain ones could bring you a small fortune. Back in 1981, the U.S. Mint struck millions of these quarters, But over time, certain unique features have turned a few of these coins into collector's gold. From mint errors to pristine conditions, we're breaking down what to look for in a 1981 quarter and the fascinating reasons behind its high value in today's coin market. Let's start with a little history. 1981 was the last year the Washington quarter featured the same design style, before the mint began changing it more frequently in the late 20th century. The P on this quarter means it was minted in Philadelphia. This was an era when quarters were still primarily made of copper and nickel, which means they don't contain silver. Not every 1981 P quarter is worth thousands, so what's the secret? It comes down to a few factors, and we'll go through each of them one by one. One of the biggest reasons a 1981 P quarter could be worth a lot is due to mint errors. These errors happen during the coin's production, making each one unique. Common errors to look for include double die errors. These occur when the die used to strike the coin has a doubling effect, creating extra outlines or ghosting of the design, especially around letters and numbers. Off-center strikes. If you see a quarter where the design is misaligned, this is another error that collectors love. Clipped planchets. This happens when a piece of the coin is missing due to a manufacturing error, giving the coin a distinct and perfect look. Finding a 1981 P quarter with one of these errors can instantly increase its value significantly. Another factor is the condition of the coin. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A higher grade means fewer imperfections, making it more valuable. Coins that score MS67 or higher, like MS68, MS69, or even the elusive MS70, are rare, and they can reach thousands of dollars in value because collectors and investors are willing to pay a premium for them. A coin graded MS68 can fetch up to $500 or more, while an MS69 can leap into the thousands. So, if you come across a pristine 1981 P quarter, it's definitely worth having it graded by a professional. Current market value and record sales. The market for collectible coins has been heating up, and the 1981 P quarter is no exception. In fact, one of the highest grades ever achieved for this coin was an MS67, and in 2023, a specimen like this sold for a jaw-dropping $78,900 at auction. Why? Because high-grade, uncirculated examples of this quarter are incredibly scarce, and collectors are constantly hunting for that perfect coin. So how do you know if the 1981 P quarter in your pocket might be valuable? Here's what to do. Look closely for any visible errors. Use a magnifying glass to check for double dies, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets. Evaluate the coin's condition. If it's shiny and without scratches or wear, you may have a high-grade example on your hands. Consider getting it graded. For high-quality quarters, sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC could boost its value dramatically. A small fee for grading could make the difference between a regular quarter and one worth thousands of dollars. Once you know you have a valuable 1981 P quarter, you have options for selling it. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions are great if you have a rare, high-grade coin that could spark a bidding war. Alternatively, you could list it on a collectible site like eBay or go through a reputable coin dealer to get it appraised and sold. The 1981 P Washington quarter may seem like an ordinary coin, but some of these quarters hold extraordinary value. Remember, whether it's a mint error or a high-grade gem, finding one in the right condition could mean thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars in your pocket. Video, we're diving into a particular coin that has recently made waves in the coin collecting community, the 1989 P Washington quarter dollar. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A 1989 quarter? Is it really worth much? Well, stick around because you might be in for a big surprise. This coin has been known to fetch some pretty impressive amounts of money in the right market conditions. In fact, some collectors have seen this coin's value soar to around $72,900, Yes, you heard that correctly. So let's break down why this quarter is worth more than just 25 cents. Before we jump into the specifics of the 1989p Washington quarter, let's take a quick look at the history of the coin. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. This coin has become one of the most iconic and long-standing designs in American numismatics, with a rich history of its own. Over the years, it's gone through different designs and series, but one thing has remained constant: it's a symbol of American heritage. Now, fast forward to 1989. The Washington quarter, minted that year at the Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P mint mark, may not seem like it would be anything special at first glance, but this coin has a unique set of characteristics that make it desirable among collectors. First, let's talk about the basic details of the coin. The 1989p quarter, like most quarters, is made of a copper-nickel clad composition. It weighs about 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. But the value doesn't come from the basics alone. To really understand what makes the 1989p quarter special, we need to talk about rarity, condition, and specific varieties of this coin that have led to big payouts at auctions. So why does this seemingly ordinary quarter have such a huge price tag? Well, the 1989p Washington quarter is considered valuable due to a few key factors. Like with any coin, the condition plays a massive role in its value. A quarter in uncirculated condition, meaning it has little to no wear and tear, is far more valuable than one that's been in circulation for decades. Coins that have been well preserved are often graded by professionals on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. For example, an uncirculated 1989p quarter in mint state 67 or higher can fetch a premium price. The 1989p Washington quarter comes in a few varieties that can increase its worth. Some collectors look for die varieties. These are differences in the design caused by the way the die was made or used during production. A small difference in the shape of the lettering or the placement of the mint mark can turn a regular quarter into a highly sought-after piece. Error coins are a whole category of their own when it comes to numismatics, and the 1989p quarter has had its fair share of them. For example, double die errors where the engraving is slightly misaligned, or clipped planchet errors where the coin was not cut correctly, can lead to a huge bump in value. These mistakes make the coin unique, and as we all know in the world of collecting, the rarer the coin, the more valuable it becomes. Finally, the market itself can play a huge role in a coin's value. Coin collectors and investors who are actively looking for specific years, errors, or conditions of coins can drive up prices. If there's a surge in demand for Washington quarters or an uptick in interest in the 1989p series, the price can climb dramatically. Now let's talk numbers. You might be wondering, what does a $72,900 1989p Washington quarter actually look like? Well, in 2023, a near-perfect mint state 67 1989p Washington quarter was auctioned off for an eye-popping $72,900. This was an extreme case, but it shows just how much a quarter in great condition and with rare characteristics can be worth. Other quarters in lesser grades, but with special errors, have also fetched impressive prices. For example, a 1989p with a minor die crack sold for over $1,000, definitely a lot more than 25 cents. So how do you know if your 1989p quarter is worth anything? Here are a few things to look for. Make sure the coin has the P mint mark, which indicates it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. If it's missing, you may have an error, and that's a good thing. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to carefully inspect the coin for any unusual markings, such as double die errors, die cracks, or clipped planchets. These errors can make your quarter incredibly valuable. Grade your coin based on its wear. If your coin is shiny and almost perfect, it could be a high-value piece. If it's worn or scratched, it may still have some value depending on its rarity. So, there you have it. The 1989p Washington quarter is definitely more than just a regular coin you'll find in your pocket. With the right condition, rare varieties, and potential errors, this coin has been known to fetch some truly impressive amounts of money. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a newbie looking to get into coin collecting, the 1989p Washington quarter is one to keep your eye on. Video, we're going to talk about something that could change the way you look at your change jar forever. If you've ever wondered about the value of your 1994D Washington quarter, well, you're in the right place. Today, we're discussing why these coins are not just regular quarters. They could be worth big money, and we'll explore their current market value, which is a whopping $68,900. So, stay tuned as we break it down for you. Let's start with the basics. The 1994D Washington quarter was struck at the Denver Mint. It features the classic design, George Washington on the obverse, and an eagle with an olive branch and arrows on the reverse. But what's really interesting about these quarters is not just their design, it's their value on the market today. You may be asking, why would a 1994D quarter be worth so much? Well, let me explain. Now, before we get into the specifics, it's important to understand that the value of any coin depends on a variety of factors. These include the coin's rarity, its condition, and whether it has any special features that make it stand out from the millions of others that were minted. When it comes to coin collecting, the term grade is one of the most important things to know. A coin's grade is based on its condition, and this directly impacts its value. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin can be. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect or mint state. Now, let's get into the exciting part. So, what makes the 1994D Washington quarter so special? Well, most of the 1994D quarters that were minted are fairly common and are worth just face value, 25 cents. But certain 1994D quarters have unique characteristics that make them worth much more. These rare quarters are typically those that have been struck with a minting error or have survived in near-perfect condition. And that's where the big money comes in. Let's talk about the two biggest factors that can drastically increase the value of a 1994D Washington quarter: error coins and high-grade specimens. Error coins are a huge deal in the numismatic world, and they're one of the most exciting finds for collectors. For example, one of the most sought-after 1994D quarters is a coin that has been struck with a double die error, where the designs on the obverse and reverse are doubled. This happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing multiple impressions to be stamped onto the coin. These error coins are incredibly rare and can fetch thousands of dollars depending on the severity of the mistake. Another factor that can increase a quarter's value is its condition. For instance, if you find a 1994D quarter in near-perfect or MS65 condition or higher, it could be worth several $100s or more. Coins in top-notch condition are rare because most quarters get worn down from circulation. So, if your coin is shiny, with crisp details and minimal wear, it could be a goldmine. Now you might be thinking, how can I tell if my 1994D quarter is valuable? Well, there are a few things to look out for. First, inspect the coin carefully for any signs of wear and tear. If your quarter has been in circulation for a while, it might not be worth much more than face value. However, if your coin has clear and crisp details, then it's worth examining it further. Next, check for any minting errors, like a double die or misstrike. Look closely at the designs, especially on the lettering, date, and the edges. Sometimes, errors can be subtle, so it's worth investing in a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to get a closer look. Alright, so you've got your 1994D Washington quarter, and you think it might be worth something. How much could it actually sell for? Well, if your quarter is in great condition or has a minting error like a double die, you could be looking at anywhere from a few $100s to over $68,000. Yep, you heard that right. $68,900. That's how much one particular 1994 double die quarter was sold for at auction not too long ago. Coins with minting errors, especially those that are as striking as the double die error, can command astronomical prices at auction. It's a competitive market, and collectors are always on the lookout for these rare finds. The 1994 Washington quarter with a significant double die error is one of those coins that just gets collectors' hearts racing. So how do you find out what your 1994 quarter is really worth? The best way is to get it appraised by a professional numismatist or to send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies will evaluate the coin, grade it, and provide you with an official certificate of authenticity, which is crucial when it comes time to sell. Coins that are graded well and certified are much more likely to fetch top dollar at auction or in private sales. Remember, the value of a coin can fluctuate based on market trends and collector demand, so it's always a good idea to keep an eye on the current prices. Websites like eBay, Heritage Auctions, and Numis Media are great resources for tracking the value of specific coins, including the 1994 Washington quarter. To wrap up, if you've got a 1994 Washington quarter, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. While most of them are worth only 25 cents, a well-preserved coin or one with a minting error could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. So check your change, search your coin jars, and keep an eye out for those rare finds. Who knows? You might just stumble upon a quarter that could change your life. We're diving deep into something really exciting, the 1995 Philadelphia P. Washington quarter dollar. Now, if you've ever wondered if you have a hidden treasure in your coin jar or change, this one might just be the jackpot. Stick with me, because you're about to learn just how valuable this coin can be in today's market. First, let's take a closer look at the 1995 P. Washington quarter itself. This coin features the iconic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. It has been a staple in American coinage since 1932. But while the regular 1995 quarter is still in circulation, you'll want to pay attention because some of these are worth much more than face value. So, what makes the 1995 Philadelphia quarter so valuable? Well, there's one big thing you need to know. A particular variety of this coin that was misstruck has made headlines. Yes, it's all about that rare error variety. But before we get into the specifics, let's talk numbers and the current market for these quarters. Right now, the current market value for certain 1995 P. Washington quarters can be a jaw-dropping $62,900. I'm not kidding. Some of these rare quarters are fetching nearly $63,000 at auction. Now you might be thinking, wait, what makes a 1995 P quarter worth that much? Let's break it down. There are two main reasons why a 1995 P Washington quarter might be worth a small fortune. This is the big one, and it can be extremely valuable. The error occurs when the die used to stamp the coins was misaligned, causing the designs on the coin to appear doubled or even tripled. For the 1995 P quarter, this results in a noticeable doubling of the letters and numbers, especially on the word Liberty and the date 1995 on the obverse side. Even without the error, some 1995 P quarters are worth more if they are in mint condition or have unique qualities, like deep toning or other imperfections that are considered rare in the coin world. However, a 1995 P quarter in MS67 or higher grade, with no error, can still fetch several $100s. Now, let's talk about how you can tell if you've got one of these goldmine quarters in your collection. Here's what you need to look for. First, check the mint mark. If you look on the reverse side of your quarter, near the bottom, you'll see a tiny P. That's for Philadelphia. So, if it doesn't have the P, it's not the coin we're talking about. Next, look closely at the lettering and date. For the double die error, the most obvious sign is the doubled text on Liberty, and I in God we trust. You'll notice that the letters appear more than once, kind of like a ghostly shadow behind the main text. If you have a good magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe, you'll be able to spot it even easier. Check out this example I have here. Look at the word Liberty. See how there's that shadowy second image just below the main letters? That's the kind of thing that signals a valuable error coin. If you find one of these in your collection, it could be worth thousands of dollars, especially if it's in a high grade. Now, let's talk real numbers for a second. The value of a 1995 P Washington quarter can vary significantly depending on its condition, and whether it has the double die error dot. If your coin is in average condition, it might only be worth around $4 to $6. Not much, right? But if you find one with that double die error, the value skyrockets, especially if it's graded as high as MS65 or MS66. We're talking anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 in some cases. But for those rare MS67 coins, some have even been known to sell for $62,900 at auction. That's the kind of money we're talking about. Here's a quick guide on how much these quarters can sell for, based on their grade. So, how can you actually sell your 1995 P Washington quarter? The first step is to get your coin professionally graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. Once you've got that certification, you can start listing it at reputable auction houses or online platforms like eBay, where rare coins like this can go for top dollar. Remember, it's all about paying attention to the details. That little P mint mark and the sharp, doubled lettering can make all the difference between a regular quarter and a high-value collector's item. If you find one of these, make sure you get it appraised before letting it slip through your hands. Alright, folks. Now you know all about the 1995 P Washington quarter dollar and how it could be worth some serious money. So next time you're digging through your change jar or flipping through your coin collection, make sure to check for this rare and valuable coin. We're diving into the world of rare coins and uncovering one of the most valuable Washington quarters out there, the 1998 D Washington quarter dollar. This coin has a story that's bound to surprise you. So if you're a numismatist or just someone who loves to learn about hidden treasures, stick around because this one's a gem. At first glance, the 1998 D Washington quarter may just look like another run-of-the-mill coin. However, this quarter has something special about it, a story of rarity, misprints, and a current market value that might just blow your mind. We're talking about a coin that's worth up to $58,900 today. Yep, you heard that right. So what makes the 1998 D Washington quarter so valuable? Well, the D mint mark on this coin indicates it was minted in Denver, Colorado, by the U.S. Mint. But while many quarters from 1998 are worth only 25 cents, some rare varieties have been discovered over time that make them worth way more. Let's break it down. First, let's take a look at the coin itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. The design on the front features a portrait of Washington, and the back shows an eagle with the coin's denomination and United States of America inscribed. Nothing particularly unusual about that, right? But keep watching. The value of a typical 1998 D Washington quarter is about 25 cents, but some versions of this coin have been found with errors or special characteristics that make them worth much more. These can be categorized into three main factors: rare mint errors, the coin's condition, and its demand in the market. One of the key reasons a 1998 D quarter could be worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, is due to mint errors. These errors can include things like a double die or clipped planchet. A double die occurs when the coin dies are misaligned, and you can see a doubled image of Washington or other elements of the design. This can be very subtle, but when you find one, it's worth checking the value. A quarter with a significant double die can fetch around $1,000, depending on the severity of the error. Other possible errors include things like a die crack, a broad strike, or even a misstruck quarter with another coin's image on it. These types of minting errors are highly sought after by collectors, and they drastically increase the value of a coin. Another big factor that affects the value of a 1998 D Washington quarter is the condition of the coin. This is where grading comes into play. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, uncirculated coin. A 1998 D Washington quarter in MS 67 or higher condition could easily be worth several $100s. But, to reach the astronomical value of $58,900, a 1998 D quarter would need to be in pristine condition and potentially have a rare mint error. For example, a coin graded as MS 69, with no noticeable wear and with a rare mint error, could skyrocket in price. One such coin recently sold at auction for over $50,000, and the price is still climbing as collectors compete for these rarities. Now, the value of these quarters isn't just about errors and condition. Demand is also a huge driver. As more collectors get involved in numismatics and discover these valuable coins, the price continues to rise. The market for rare coins like this has seen a significant boom in recent years, and the 1998 D Washington quarter is no exception. Coins that would have only been worth a few dollars just a decade ago are now fetching tens of thousands. Hashtag here's a tip for coin hunters. If you have a 1998 D Washington quarter in your collection, don't just toss it aside. Get it checked out by a professional coin grader. The smallest imperfection or the tiniest error could make a huge difference in its value. Even a small misprint or unusual characteristic can make your coin worth far more than its face value. And if you're thinking, I want to start collecting, you're in luck. Start by looking for key dates, like the 1998 D Washington quarter, and search for any coins that might have errors or are in pristine, uncirculated condition. You never know when you might find a hidden treasure. To wrap it up, the 1998 D Washington quarter might look like just another common coin to the untrained eye, but if you're lucky enough to find a rare variety with a minting error or in exceptional condition, you could be looking at a coin worth up to $58,900 or even more. Keep your eyes peeled, your magnifying glass handy, and start hunting for these rare coins because you never know what you might find. Video is a must-watch. We're diving deep into one particular coin that's been making waves in the numismatic world, the 2013 D Washington $quarter coin. The 2013 D Washington quarter has been spotted in the market for some pretty big numbers lately. And yes, you heard that right, this coin could be worth big money. We'll explore why this coin, which is often overlooked by casual collectors, is fetching prices up to $48,900 in today's market. So, grab your magnifying glass and get ready to uncover the secrets of the 2013 D Washington quarter. But before we jump in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's get started. First things first, let's talk about what this coin is and why it's important. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington. It has become one of the most iconic coins in American currency, with its design featuring a profile of Washington himself on the obverse. The coin we're focusing on today is the 2013 D Washington quarter, minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark on the reverse side. This coin, like many others in the series, is a part of the U.S. Mints America the Beautiful Quarters program, which celebrated U.S. national parks and landmarks. Now, here's where things get interesting. Why is the 2013 D Washington quarter worth so much? Well, there are a few key factors that make it stand out from other quarters. The primary reason the 2013 D Washington quarter can fetch such high prices is due to rare minting errors. Some of these coins left the mint with die cracks, double strikes, or even off-center strikes. These errors make the coin much more valuable to collectors, as they are considered to be rarities. For example, a double strike error could mean that the coin was struck twice, resulting in a distorted or overlaid design. These types of mistakes are uncommon and highly sought after by numismatists, driving the price way up. Next up, the condition of the coin is critical when it comes to its value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. For example, if your 2013 D Washington quarter is in gem uncirculated condition, meaning it looks brand new, with sharp details and no visible wear, it can fetch anywhere from $15 to $100 depending on the market demand at the time. However, the real big money comes from coins with minting errors or those that have been graded MS67 or higher. In fact, a 2013 D Washington quarter with a minting error and an MS67 grade has been known to sell for up to $48,900. So, is the 2013 D Washington quarter really worth $48,900? Well, the short answer is yes, but only under specific conditions. This high value is not for every coin. It's typically reserved for those with rare minting errors and exceptional grading. In 2023, one of these coins sold for an eye-popping $48,900 at auction. This wasn't just any regular 2013 D Washington quarter. It had a major error that made it stand out in the market. These kinds of sales are extremely rare, and it's important to understand that not every 2013 D Washington quarter will hit this kind of value. Now, you might be wondering, how can I find a 2013 D Washington quarter that could be worth this kind of money? Here's what you should look for: minting errors. Look for signs of die cracks, double strikes, or misaligned designs. High grade condition. Keep an eye out for coins that have been kept in great condition, no scratches, no visible wear. Get it graded. If you think your coin might be valuable, take it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A high-quality grade can significantly boost your coin's worth. So, what does all this mean for you as a collector? The 2013 D Washington quarter may seem like a regular, run-of-the-mill coin, but if you know what to look for, and you're lucky enough to find one with the right error or in pristine condition, you could have a hidden gem worth thousands of dollars. As always, remember that coin collecting is about more than just the money. It's about the thrill of discovery and the joy of preserving history. But if you can make a little cash along the way, why not, right? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more tips and guides on coin collecting. Have you ever found a rare coin in your change? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing your stories. We're diving deep into a coin that has been making waves in the numismatic world, the 2017 P. Washington $quarter coin. You might have heard some rumors about its high value, but what's the real deal? Well, stick around, because we're going to uncover everything about this coin, its history, and why it's worth big money, as much as $40,900 in some cases. Now, before you run off to check your pocket change, let me tell you that not every 2017 P quarter is going to make you a millionaire, but there are some that are definitely worth way more than face value. Let's start by breaking down why the 2017 P. Washington quarter is so special. So, first things first, this is a relatively new coin, minted in 2017, and you might be wondering, what makes it so valuable? Well, the key here is something pretty rare for a U.S. coin. It was the first time in over 80 years that the Philadelphia Mint added a P mint mark to a Washington quarter. And that's right, this was the first time a quarter was minted with a P mint mark since 1932, which was the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Because of this, the 2017 P Washington quarter was a historic coin for collectors. And even though this might sound like just a minor change, it's one that makes this coin unique and much more collectible. Now, the next question that's on everyone's mind: how much is this coin worth? While the 2017 P Washington quarter may look like any regular quarter you see in circulation, there are certain versions of it that can fetch big money, up to $40,900, in fact. But how does that happen? What's so special about these high-priced coins? Well, the high-value coins are ones that are in mint condition and have very low mintage numbers, meaning they weren't mass-produced. For example, some of these 2017 P Washington quarters were part of a special coin series called the America, the Beautiful Quarters program, which featured different national parks and landmarks on the reverse side of the coin. The rarest and most valuable quarters are typically the ones that were released into circulation, but then not many were ever spent, meaning they were never exposed to wear and tear. In fact, a 2017 P quarter that was graded MS67 by the professional grading service PCGS, that's Mint State 67, which means it's practically flawless, sold for a massive $40,900 in an auction. That's a huge return for a coin worth just 25 cents. To get an idea of what kind of coins are worth this much, you need to understand the condition grading system. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being the perfect, flawless coin. Coins in perfect condition, like the 2017 P Washington quarters that have been well preserved and protected from damage, are much rarer and can command higher prices at auction. But how do you find one of these super valuable coins? Well, first off, don't get discouraged if you don't have one sitting in your pocket right now. The truth is, most 2017 P Washington quarters will be worth about 25 cents, maybe a little more if they're in good condition. But the ones that fetch huge money are extremely rare, and finding them takes a bit of luck and a sharp eye. You'll want to look for coins that are uncirculated, have no marks, scratches, or damage, and have been kept in a cool, dry place. Here's something else you should keep an eye out for. Some of the 2017 P quarters were mistakenly minted with errors. For example, there are coins with doubling on the mint mark or a misaligned die, which can significantly increase their value. Errors like these can make a regular quarter worth hundreds of dollars, and in some cases, they've even sold for thousands at auction. So, while the 2017 P Washington quarter isn't automatically a jackpot coin, it's certainly one that collectors should be aware of, especially if you find one in excellent condition or with an error. That could be your ticket to a nice payday. And with some of these selling for over $40,000, it's definitely worth doing a little coin hunting. If you're wondering how to check your own coins, here's a quick guide to help you determine whether you've found something valuable. First, use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the surface of the coin for any scratches, dents, or discoloration. Look closely at the mint mark. Remember, it's the P that makes these special. Then, you'll want to check for any noticeable errors in the die, like doubling, that could make your coin a rare find. So, to sum up, the 2017 P Washington quarter is a historic coin because it marked the return of the P mint mark after 80 years. While most of these coins are still worth just 25 cents, if you find one that's in perfect condition or has a rare error, it could be worth a lot more, potentially thousands of dollars. And in some cases, like a grade MS67, they've been known to fetch up to $40,900. I hope this video helped you understand the true value of the 2017 P Washington quarter and why it's such a sought-after coin. Now go check your change. You never know what hidden treasures you might find. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and leave a comment below if you've ever come across one of these valuable quarters or have any questions about coin collecting. Until next time, happy hunting!